Hello basketball coaches and basketball players, my name is Alan from Al's Basketball Training, and today I'm going to talk to you about how you can shoot a basketball faster. Now this is a very important video if you want to become a better basketball shooter, but also be able to shoot over a lot of taller players. So especially stay right to the end for the fifth tip, because it's very important. Okay, so first we see a lot of players, especially in today's game, who are shooting from their hip, and they're shooting like this. Or they're bringing it up from the hip like this and shooting. That, for one, takes a very long time to do, and also it's not going to be able to keep you in control. And what I mean by that is, if you're shooting like myself, like Mike Bryce, like Klay Thompson, they're all catching the ball, they're going straight to here, and then they're shooting. If you're going to your hip, that's a lot longer. That takes a lot longer. Also, secondly, if you're going from the hip, you're not getting the arc that you need, for one, and you're also releasing a lot lower than you normally would. So what you need to do is, instead of bringing it down to your waist and shoot like that, what you need to do is bring it right to here, and then you can take your shot. That seems a lot faster, doesn't it? Now, yes, the proper way to shoot a basketball is to have your wrist all the way back when you're taking that shot. You want to be able to see the wrinkles in your wrist. But if you've got a tall player who is coming out on you, this is one tip that I use myself. There was a guy who we called Crazy Hands way back when I was in high school and way back when I was in college, when I played pickup ball at the Y. And he was a retired player. Not retired, he still played. What am I saying? He was a player in the Filipino National League, or like the professional league over there. And he taught us that if you want to be able to have a really quick shot, this guy was like this tall. So he was getting shots over me, and I was like, okay, first off, your dribbling is insanely quick, your shooting is insanely quick, how are you doing this? So of course, we were already shooting like this, the proper way to shoot if you want to be able to have a higher arc and that kind of thing. But the one thing that he taught us is, instead of cocking your wrist all the way back, you've got that a couple of milliseconds from here to there. And that's how he's able to get it off quicker. So if you've got a tall player coming on you, and this is something that you can teach yourself, is to shoot with a hand that is not cocked all the way back. And you've probably seen me shoot where I'm not bending my wrist all the way back, and that's because it's a lot faster of a shot. However, if you want a more consistent shot, you want to bend your wrist all the way back, because that's going to give you more rotation on that ball. But if you're going to do this maybe 2 or 3 times in a game, definitely practice it where you keep your wrist straight and then you can flick at the end. That's going to help you with a lot faster of a release. And this guy was dead on with his shots, and he was like 5'10", and he was killing it. And he's a professional player, so considering that it works for him, it's worked for me when I went down to the D League, and it's worked for a couple of many other players that I've trained. Definitely try that move. So basically, really quickly, the form, instead of it looking like that, it's going to look like that, where it's just a lot quicker of a release, because I'm not bending my wrist all the way back. Now, this is all stuff that you need to practice. This is not something that you can go into a game and do yourself right off the bat. These are all things and tactics that you need to practice on an open court like I am today. Now, this third move that if you wanted to be able to shoot the basketball faster, is being able to flick your wrist a lot faster. So a lot of players, when they're shooting the ball, and you see this especially with taller players, when they get that ball, they flick really slowly. Now, if you were to speed up the flick of your wrist, for one, you're going to get more spin on the ball, which will help it drop in a lot easier. But also, with a faster flick, you're releasing that ball a lot quicker. You're getting that ball off your hand faster. And that's the whole main idea. And even with a not so cocked back, not so bent back wrist, even with a straight wrist, if you flick it fast, it's going to go in. And we've all seen Kawhi Leonard shoot. He also doesn't shoot with his wrist all the way back. He shoots, if you've really looked closely on his shot, he shoots with almost like a straight wrist, and then he flicks super quickly. This allows him to get his shot off faster, but also get ridiculous spin on that ball. Okay, so the fourth tip I'm going to show you is your toes. Your toes are very important. When you're shooting the ball, if you want to have a more explosiveness, you want to be on your toes. You don't want to be down on your heels and taking a shot, because for one, it is going to slow your shot down, but for two, you're going to be feeling like you're shooting in cement. So if you've ever had that feeling where you're in a game and you're like, wow, I feel like I'm running in cement. Wow, I feel like I'm jumping in cement. What you need to do is really think, what are my feet doing? If you're up on your toes, then you're going to be able to get that shot off a lot faster. And if you can get that shot off faster, it's again going to be a lot harder for you to get blocked. So stay on your toes. That goes for when you're on offense, trying to drive on a player, when you're trying to shoot, when you're playing defense, stay on those toes. Your reaction time is going to be much faster. Now, all four of these tips so far are really important. And if you want to be able to become a better shooter, but also a faster shooter, these are the tips that you're going to do, or you're going to need to be able to do. Going from there, this fifth tip is not a tip on how you can become a faster shooter. It's going to be combining with that, but also your ability to be able to shoot just better in general. And that is for you to stay in control. A lot of players, when they're trying to shoot faster, instead of using those moves, they're just trying to chuck the ball up as quick as possible. And you don't want to do that. You want to follow your shooting form. Everyone has a small tweak that's different from each other, but you want to follow your shooting form. And if you want to shoot faster, you'll do these tips, staying on your toes. If there's a tall player who's guarding you, don't bend your wrist all the way back. Keep it a little bit more straight, but still see the wrinkles, but you're not bending all the way back, because that 1 to 2 milliseconds is going to make a difference. Again, being on your toes, the bending of the wrist, being able to shoot not from your hip, but up here instead of down here. All these tips are going to help you not just become a faster basketball shooter, but also a better basketball shooter. I hope that you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, hit that like button, subscribe, and remember, when you're trying these tips, stay in control. Don't be just chucking the ball up. Go through these moves. I hope to see you guys again tomorrow for another Twice a Day basketball video.